Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty show. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the Giants pitching staff changes that they just made as Bryan Price has stepped down or stepped away, however you want to word it, and will no longer be the Giants pitching coach after just one season. Um, it did get said that when he signed that he was likely only going to be here for 1 or 2 years anyway. He had mentioned that he was pretty close to being done coaching in general, and had the Giants not been the team to call him, may not have continued to do it as it stood. So he did one season. He is no longer here as the pitching coach. The Giants did also announce that JP Martinez, who had been their assistant pitching coach since 2021, is taking over in the full-time role as the pitching coach. I'm going to talk a little bit about both of those things, kind of how I feel about both moves. Or both sides of it, I should say. But before we do that, the first thing I want to say is if you do enjoy the content we put out, if you're enjoying the show, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's helping a lot for channel growth, a lot for the algorithm, all that good stuff. You guys are awesome. The subscriber count has gone insane the last week or so. We're really trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers by the end of the off season. And you guys are probably you guys rock, and you're going to probably make that happen way sooner than that. But I do still find that like 60 to 80%, depending on the video, of the people watching aren't subscribed. So if you can, please do that. It means a lot. Moving on. So starting off with the Bryan Price side of things. If you look at the Giants' numbers as a staff, and, this isn't entirely Bryan Price's fault. I'm a big believer in the players are the ones on the field playing. So, they deserve to shoulder, just as much blame as the pitching staff, for instance, or the coach, I mean. But if you do look at the numbers overall, they were 19th in ERA. They gave up the 10th most walks, and they had the 22nd ranked WHIP, as well as they were 24th in quality starts. There were a couple positives. They allowed the third fewest home runs. Part of that is playing in Oracle Park. And they had the 7th most strikeouts. So there were some good things with the pitching staff, but overall it underperformed. And I harp on a lot of things, regarding the roster building and things like that, where I do think like the bullpen, for instance, was better than it showed, but they got worn down in May because they only had 2.5 starting pitchers to start the season. I don't like the way they utilize a lot of people in general, and they don't, go deeper into games and put more emphasis on having the starters go deeper and things like that. But, Andrew Bailey and Bannister and them operated with a lot of similar type roster builds and got much better results out of the pitchers. So I do think Bryan Price deserves some of the blame for that, and he deserves to shoulder some of that because, we harp on the hitting and all that all year and the lack of impact bats and where they can improve there. But when you're 19th in ERA in a pitcher's park, that's a problem, especially when you look at it and you win 80 games. So I do think that is something that they could improve, and just getting a little better there, they're going to make some progress next season. Now, where does JP Martinez fit into this? Well, he is the one holdover remaining from the Andrew Bailey and Bannister, pitching coach staff, whatever you want to call it. They still haven't filled Bannister's spot. I don't know if that's something they will fill or not, but, as a pitching director over the whole system, but, we'll see there. But where I see Martinez is, I think he is going to be a little more data centric. Hopefully, he can tap into the stuff on some of these guys, something that they did really well when Bannister and Bailey were here. He was around last season, so it's not like he wasn't a voice in all this already, but it'll be very interesting. I think he's a deserving candidate. They had last year, notwithstanding, he has a lot of track record of, doing good work. The players speak highly of him. And obviously they did pretty solid work during that Kapler regime. So I do like the hire. I wouldn't be shocked if you see them bring in a guy like Ryan Vogelsong as an assistant coach, or an assistant pitching coach on the roster, or on the staff. But I'm not surprised that they didn't go that route and go super inexperienced. I think going with a guy like JP Martinez is a smart play. Yes, he's inexperienced, that he hasn't been the pitching coach for at any point in his career, but he's been an assistant pitching coach for about 10 years now. I think he's first took a job with the Twins in 2015 and worked in different pitching coach capacities with them for about 6 years before coming to the Giants. So he has a ton of experience. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out, going forward. But that was just kind of my feelings on, looking at where the staff was, if this will be beneficial and whatnot. Short video today. That's all I have for right now. We are planning to do our live show on Friday. We're still confirming with our guest for that night. I think we'll probably put a live together regardless, but hopefully we will have our guest here for that, so you guys can enjoy that. We're going to pick his brain a bunch. Go back to the previous videos. I'm not going to mention who it is, but go back to the previous videos. You might be able to find it. But other than that, I mentioned it on the live show. I am now on TikTok, Facebook. And I am going to upload the live shows to Spotify. I've been really bad about those, but we are going to at least get the live shows updated there, and we're putting shorts out and things like that. So go check out those if you want just kind of some of the shorts from the videos and things like that posted. But other than that, go Giants.